Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. On my way to Wisconsin, go to see some buddies. And on the drive up here from Texas, I got a decent amount of stories for y'all, news related stories, that is. So I'll get them spit out, and then you'll probably have your next video closer to the end of the week while I enjoy my spring break. So, if you're not seeing a video almost every day, that's the main reason. But the first thing is there is growing support from Republicans and Democrats to send MiG-29s in Poland to Ukraine. The last time I talked about this, the U.S. generals were kind of like, hey, we don't want to, get this involved in this. The spending bill did pass, and Ukraine's getting like $14.5 or $14.6 billion. And Estonia in the NATO parliaments, or whatever their governing system is, formally brought to the table establishing a no-fly zone over Ukraine, which, as some people would describe it, is like a soft declaration of war. Because, so let's say Estonia and Poland and Germany adopted this no-fly zone. They're supposed to enforce it with their own planes, missile defense system, ground to air. And if they don't enforce it, then it makes them look weak, and it kind of doesn't overly matter. But enforcing it actively means when a Russian plane enters, or any plane that isn't already pre-authorized to enter this area, then my country's, weapon system is going to attempt to destroy your country's weapon system. So you could say that Germany didn't establish a no-fly zone during World War II over France, but they had the AA there, and they claimed it as their territory. So when you entered it, we were in a war, you were a not authorized country entering the area, and we're going to shoot it down. And that's in the middle of war. As it stands, the only countries really involved in this war are Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. These barbecue sunflower seeds are muy good. So that's why I categorize it as a soft declaration of war. I don't think they've even discussed it yet, after Estonia formally bringing it up. But everyone in the West, this is moving on, was saying, oh, Russia's going to invade Ukraine because they had like 120 or 180,000 troops stationed around and near the border. And Russia kept playing it off as, well, we're within our country. We're doing war games. We can move our troops around however we want because we're within our country. Now, currently, there are 30,000 NATO troops in Norway, along with an additional 50 ships conducting war games. I put the quotation marks on there because Russia said they were doing war games. And it's one of those, you can believe them the entire time they're within their own border. They could do war games for 2 weeks or 2 years. As long as they're staying within their border, they're not doing anything wrong. But as soon as that amassed troops decides to enter another country, it can be seen as an issue. This, I don't think I really brought it up because it wasn't super important, but probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, Biden canceled the testing of a Minuteman ICBM to de-escalate things, but we have NATO troops involved in this war game, and as long as they aren't entering Russian space, they're doing exactly what they say they're doing. They do it for 2 weeks and go home, and it's like, haha, we told you so. They do it for 2 years, and they go home and say, haha, we told you so. But it only takes, declaring a mission or an objective inside of Russia before Russia goes, see, that's why you had them there. They weren't practicing a war game. They were, your division was setting up its battle plans, and we're going to take this area and then this area, and, this is our time frame, and, this is why we can't trust you. That's a lot of birds on the road. So, more posturing, more saber rattling. There's, a lot of stuff in the media. They're talking about how do you survive, a nuclear blast, because people within the UN are more frequently saying, if this becomes a hot conflict, if this does materialize into World War III, then it's going to be nuclear. And, I saw different, you could type in most likely spots to be hit by a nuke, and you'll have 100 different articles. And if you look within the United States, if they decided to drop a nuke in every single one of those spots, then there's not very many places you could actually run and hide or, try to protect yourself in. So, that being said, the last, I guess, pertinent information is in the United States, there's a growing sentiment for the previous president. And so, like I said, I don't really try to get overly political, but it's looking more and more like a right-leaning landslide in the polls. And a good portion of the right and the left are very much wanting us to sit this conflict out. They're saying, the compromise point is we'll send them equipment and, these hiccups are awful. But the compromise from the political spectrum is give them equipment, establish our excuse me, establish our line in the sand, and if we cross it, then that's when we'll engage our military. As a prepper, me personally, I don't want a hot conflict. Most of us that call ourselves preppers, I would say maybe the top 5% is actually 100% or as close to ready as they could be for a situation. So, just kind of keep that in mind if you involve yourself in politics. Because I strongly believe if you don't want war, the bull in the china shop, or the last guy that we had, his line in the sand was, don't mess with them or I'm gonna blow up your capital. The current guy, I don't know, my friends have described him kind of like Chamberlain before getting Churchill during World War II. And if you don't understand the history around that, Chamberlain was an okay leader, but he was very much for appeasement, and he was kind of weak when it came to that sort of stuff. Because I think this talk of World War III is massively, covering up a lot of other issues we are having here in the U.S. I kind of think it's cooled off the idea of, civil war, which, I made a couple videos about that because it was sort of a hot topic for a minute. And now we've kind of got a spot where people on the right and left are agreeing. So take the small victories. We've done videos talking about why people purchased firearms and got into prepping. And some people got into this because of the civil unrest, because of riots and protests and the thought of a national divorce. We've kind of not really gotten rid of it, but put it on the back burner for now because we think there are bigger fish to fry. And if we can, vote in our constitutional republic to kind of start filling in that bridge gap, then maybe you can stop thinking about prepping for civil unrest and a civil war. But midterms are also still about 6 months out, and it could get heated again, and people could stop, giving two craps about Ukraine for a minute to hate each other again. And as a prepper, part of your prepping strategy should be keeping up with what's going on in the news at the international level, the national level, and the state and local government level. So with that, let me know in the comment section, news-wise, if you enjoy these videos. Let me know information that I didn't bring up in this video that you think is probably pertinent knowledge. Like the video if you enjoy the content of this video. Subscribe to the channel if you like the direction it's going in general. And lastly, share the video with a friend or family member if you think they would benefit from the discussions that we have in our videos. My father-in-law has a YouTube channel. It's mostly about camping. And he's got 168 subscribers. I am 10 behind him at the moment. So, just for bragging points and friendly competition, let's try to pass him up. And if you like that kind of stuff, then, go check out his channel. I'll put a link in it down below. It's him and her overland, and it's just their truck and their little trailer, and they do camping stuff. So with that, I'll catch you in the next one.